This morning's guest travels 20,000 miles a month, speaks to thousands weekly. She's Miss America. But that's not what makes her special. Meet Kirsten Haglund, coming up next on Carolina. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in the lobby of the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. We're focused on the Miss America organization. And we're visiting with Miss America, Kirsten Haglund. Good morning, Kirsten.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
How exciting getting you back to Spartanburg.
Yes, thank you. I loved it so much I had to come back.
Absolutely. And of course, with you traveling on average, 20,000 miles a month?
Yes,
traveling back
average.
to Spartanburg wasn't a bad deal. Yeah.
No, but everyone here has been so warm and welcoming, so I want to say thank you very much.
The whole Palmetto State and all the folks that were here a couple of weeks ago for the pageant, to see the crowning of both the teen and the miss was tremendous.
It's so exciting. It's such an exciting time for those girls, and someone has an incredible journey ahead of them for the year, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was particularly exciting being one of the judges and sitting up at the front and being able to look back when they announced that Kirsten Haglund, Miss America, was there, and to see the entire auditorium stand up, and it looked like people were teary-eyed.
Oh my gosh, it's still very surreal to me to be able to walk out on stage and hear the Miss America theme song. I mean, I remember being a little girl and sitting up and standing and clapping for Miss America when she would walk out, and just, it's very surreal, but I feel so lucky. I really do.
Oh yeah. Well, it is exciting to see those parents in the same way taking my daughter down to Disney World and being there for a Princess Key and seeing
Disney
Aurora
Princess
come out, and I'd get teary-eyed. It's very emotional when you see the child looking up in any setting. It's a magnificent thing.
It is.
There were 4 other judges here, and of course I had some packed great questions for you, but they said put your questions aside. Why don't you ask some, not the ones we actually asked any of the pageant contestants here in South Carolina, but just some great questions for you. And so if you don't mind, I was just going to check with you about a couple of those.
No, fire away.
This first one that we all came up with was a great one. What do you miss most about life before Miss America?
Before Miss America.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. People usually ask that, but they don't realize, well, before Miss America, I was Miss Michigan, so that was also the position of being a title holder. And before that, you were your local, which was Miss Oakland County. So I'd probably have to go back from before I was my local. But one thing that I miss the most is I fly all over the country, and we're driven everywhere, and I'm not actually allowed to drive my own car. And this may sound small, but the times that I've been able to be home and drive my own car, like get behind the wheel, put my own seatbelt on, decide where I want to go, be able to roll down the window and listen to the radio and turn up the music that I love and wear just a baseball cap and be totally anonymous. That is such a valuable feeling. And feeling independent enough to be able to drive your own gas and pump or drive your own car and pump your own gas, however expensive it may be. You know, there's just an element of freedom and independence in that I don't get to experience this year as Miss America. So that's kind of one small little thing that I miss, but it's such a wonderful year that it's a very small price to pay.
That is. But it is that must be very strange, though, being chauffeured everywhere, being driven everywhere, and of course, not driving, is that, some people may think, what is it, you don't want to break a nail, or why it's just...
Well, part of it is an insurance and liability issue.
Right, of course,
And for other times, I mean, we're traveling constantly, so me and my traveling companion, we're not allowed to, I mean, it's not logical for us to have our own vehicle or mode of transportation. And we go green, so we travel commercial, of course.
I love it. Impressive.
Exactly. So, but I don't think I could have picked a better year to not have to drive with gas prices being the way they are.
No, very definitely.
But just being a normal, college kid from Farmington Hills, Michigan, it's different to go from a life of being independent and being a college kid and to go to being somewhat of a celebrity, I suppose. It's just, it was a life adjustment, but I'll be happy. I'm happy right now, and I'll be happy to go back.
Absolutely, and the great thing is you do get your hands dirty. You do get, whether you're Miss America or not, you're as down to earth, clearly, as anyone who's aspiring for the crown.
Well, thank you.
Which is a great thing.
Thank you.
Question number 2 from the judges of the Miss South Carolina pageant. Was there any time during the week of Miss America that you thought, I might win this thing. I might win this thing. Was there any time during that?
Oh my goodness. Well, the thing is you never know. Because the judges, they always say a different panel of judges, a different night, a different girl. And so because there is so much subjectivity, you can I could go into the whole thing looking at it like sales and marketing.
Oh, yeah.
You make yourself, you know the product, you try to get to know yourself and make yourself the very best that you can be. You package yourself so that you're marketable. And you go into that interview, you go into the competition just marketing yourself the very best that you can. And, but the judges, you may be Pepsi and another girl may be Coke. Both the integrity and the quality of the products is the same, but some judges prefer Coke over Pepsi. So just because you're a great Pepsi, they prefer Coke. So I went into looking at it that way and just tried to prepare myself the very best. However, I had this great devotional book that I carried with me to Miss America, and every Bible verse the morning that I woke up and I would read this devotional was about winning or running the race in order to
win the prize.
Yes, win the prize. Good. And it was references to crown and being God's princess and what does that mean and being a child of God. And it was speaking to me, and I was like, well, I'm not going to I'm just going to say, okay, it's your timing and whatever God's will is for my life will be. And then Saturday morning I woke up and I just had a sense of peace and a sense of calm and acceptance about whatever was going to happen. And I was very quiet that day, and I didn't want to read into anything, but I was very calm, and I felt maybe that morning that something was going to change in my life.
Divine intervention,
so
yes.
It was very interesting. The most calm that I've ever felt actually in my entire life.
Really?
So yes, and I'm a very type A, perfectionistic type person, so that's really saying something. But, I just let it go. You have to let it go.
I wonder how many of the other 49, is it total of 50 women?
It's actually 52. We have a Miss District of Columbia and Virgin Islands.
So I wonder how many of the other 51 women were feeling the same way, that they had a calm over them, because as you say, there's no way to know. It could be that 30 of them had that calm they'd never experienced before and thought maybe this is their night.
Right, and so many girls, every girl goes to a competition with a different feeling, and some are feeling that, well, I really need to win this to feel validated, and some others go into it feeling, well, I could win, but I know what I want to do afterward, and I know that this experience is just changing me and helping me to learn things that will help me afterwards. So for some, it really is only about the crown, but for many, it's about the journey and the experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking of journey, here's another great one. As Miss America, you've had the opportunity to travel to many places across our nation.
Yes.
While we live in a very diverse society, what's one common thread you have found everywhere you've been? Is there one?
Oh my goodness, that is the thing that I say on the road, is that I've learned that people are people, no matter what age, no matter what region of the country, no matter what socioeconomic status, level of education, career choice. You connect with people on the same level of communication. A smile and a handshake goes so far, and genuine interest. I mean, I've found that communication skills, having the ability to converse with people, to be genuinely interested in other people, and to be able to carry on a conversation, that connects people like you would not even believe. And so I've really found that people, you are so true. We do live in a diverse country, but people are inherently the same, and they're motivated by the same things. And when people show concern and care, it really connects people. And that's why I love my job. I love to learn about people, and I love to connect with people. And it's incredible just how much a smile and happiness and positivity can go in embracing people.
I love it, Kirsten. Well, it was so fascinating. Earlier this week, one of the other judges, actually Dr. Adrian Johnson, came back from Texas to be back here in the lobby of the auditorium. And it's fascinating hearing him talk about, essentially, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should be listening twice as much as we speak. And in that same way, as you say, the opportunity to connect with folks because they make that extra effort to listen to you. What is Miss America all about? Surely to get into it.
Absolutely. And so many people are looking for others to care. Because we go around in this society, and it's all about succeeding. It's all about achievement, and what can I do, and how can I push myself more. And you don't come across a lot of people that are willing to step outside of themselves and say, I care about you. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about what you're doing, and smiling and being interested in what they have to say. And when people can find that other people are interested, that gives them a sense of self-worth. So much of my job, I feel like, is a service and making sure that other people know that there is someone who cares, that that is what our American society and our culture values. Miss America is something of a patriotic and about American pride. And what is that? And that's the fact that I care about you, and I'm going to step outside of myself for a second, and I'm going to care about you and listen to you. I think, and I love to do it.
That's tremendous. And I care about our director's daughter, Delaney, and she asked a question about your crown. What is it made of?
It's so funny. So many people go, is your crown real?
Yeah.
I say, well, yes, it's real. It's not a figment of your imagination. You can touch it. But it's Austrian crystal.
Oh, it's it's gorgeous.
So thank you very much.
And of course, we see almost signs of it in the beautiful Miss America logo right behind you. Even though there's not a crown, these stars on the eye in Miss and on the eye in America help drive home the stars there on the crown.
My
it's
goodness.
Beautiful, yes.
Well, thank you very much. And we say that the 4 points of the crown, because this is the same crown they've used, the same design of crown that they've used since the 50s. So there's such tradition in it. But we say that the 4 points of the crown stand for 4 things. And there's style, success, scholarship, which obviously this is a scholarship program, we compete for scholarship, and service. So it's not just a sparkly thing on the top of my head.
I'm going to have to write that back down again. Of course, for viewers who may not be familiar with the 4 points of the crown, style, success, yes. Scholarship, very important. And service. And that really came out 2 weeks ago while we were here just on the state level pageant. Of course, I'm sure through the entire, from the beginning, you mentioned your very local franchise of the local organization there in Michigan, to then becoming Miss Michigan and then later becoming Miss America. At every step of the way, you see style, success, scholarship, and service.
Yes, that's what our job is all about, and that's what we want people to know, is that it's not just the night of the pageant, because yes, it is the night of the pageant, but now Miss South Carolina is going to be traveling all over the state, serving her community, speaking about issues of importance, visiting children in the hospital for Children's Miracle Network, that's our national partnership, and preparing to go to Miss America, but in every way she's serving her community, and now that's her job. So the pageant is just one night of it, but the job is about those 4 other things.
Traveling for the next year, traveling all over. Speaking of traveling, you have a very intense schedule. What keeps you motivated to meet the public on those very tough days when you're maybe worn out after a long flight, or obviously flying back here just to get on air and to see some of the great Spartan burgers in the area?
Well, I realize how very lucky I am to be in this position. And not only to be in this position that so many girls compete for, but to be a young woman, 19 years old, who is able to address a national audience, who is able to be passionate about something and be able to talk about it in the media. Not very many young people have that opportunity or have that capability. They're writing about things in their college classroom that I'm able to experience. So I feel lucky, but I also feel blessed as a person. 2 kind of things that come to my mind and help me to stay motivated is, one, I was visiting a veterans hospital in Long Beach, California, and you can get down some days, and tired from the schedule, but I asked a gentleman, a Vietnam War veteran, I said, "How are you doing today, sir? Like, are you having a good day?" Because, days for them can be up and down. And I said, "How's your day going today?" He said, "Well, I'm too blessed to be stressed." And this from a Vietnam War veteran who was laying in a bed in the hospital. And he said, there's someone who has something to be, I'm having a bad day. Said, "I'm too blessed to be stressed." The fact that he had a family, the fact that he had his life, that was just profound to me. I said, wow. Why do I ever complain about anything? And then similarly, I was stuck in the airport actually a couple weeks ago. I was stuck in the Chicago airport for several hours, and I was kind of bummed, and I was going to be getting in late. And I was talking to a phone and a friend, and past me, and I don't know this gentleman's story, but a young man, just maybe a couple years older than me, was going by in a wheelchair. He didn't have legs from the hip, and he had no hands, and he was wheeling himself by in a wheelchair. And I couldn't believe, and as I was sitting there on the phone with my mom, and this gentleman went by, I just thought, why in the world am I complaining about anything? I have no right. I have my health. I have a wonderful family. I have an incredible job. I'm able to do something I'm passionate about every single day. What in the world do I have to be stressed about? Nothing. I am too blessed to be stressed.
I love
it. Those are some things that really motivate me.
Your new platform potential. To really spread the word about being, for folks who really take things for granted, they need to highlight being. And we need to talk a little bit about your platform, both your platform as Miss Michigan and later as Miss America, and then also Miss America, the organization's tremendous platform and their position throughout. But that's great. Too blessed to be stressed.